Nuno suggested I just do a very brief overview of what alliancing is, because a number of the participants probably are not quite aware. So alliancing is more than partnering on steroids. That's how I thought alliancing was when I first got involved in it, when I did some research on the National Museum of Australia at the end of the 1990s. It's a formal integrated project delivery agreement. And it's the key to it is integration, to develop the project time cost delivery plan, and then to actually implement it. So it's centered on an integrated team with agreed common objectives, very much what the discussion has been going on this morning. And it's entrenched through a pain gain incentive process based on project performance and not individual performance, which helps get the motivation going. And it's also dependent on effective collaboration, people being able to flag early warning signs early, and resilience of the team to respond, because all of the pain share, gain share is about how the project goes and not just how the team went. And it's characterized by a no blame workforce, consensus decision making, and shared leadership. The program alliance links alliance projects in a coherent synergistic whole. So the difference between a project alliance and a program alliance is that the program alliance is meant to pull together all the projects into one consistent whole. So what I want to talk about a little bit today is really around a program alliancing. Project alliances have been around for decades in Australia, as I mentioned. The National Museum of Australia, which opened in March 2001, was actually the first building rather than the infrastructure alliance project. There's infrastructure project alliance projects around that time, well before then. And in fact, Stuart Clegg and some of his colleagues have written a very well-cited paper about the water storage tunnels that was part of the Olympic preparations for the Olympics in Sydney. Program alliances, they do share some similarities with framework agreements, but they're quite different in many other respects. The framework agreements tend to be for very small things. The program alliances are usually for very big sort of mega project type size projects. So they're organized a series of project alliances, and the one I'd like to sort of focus on briefly, because I've only got about 5 minutes left, is on the level crossing removal program. Now that started in 2015. This is a Melbourne project or program, and the government had committed to removing 50 level crossings and renewing existing rail stations and improving their precincts. Sounds a little bit sort of ordinary, just removing level crossings. What's such a big deal about that? Well, you can imagine there's quite a lot of interfaces. It's very, very complex. And it's in brownfield sites, and you've got to keep the network moving, both the road and the rail. It grew. The project was very successfully sort of going along nicely, and then in the follow-up election, the government increased the scope to 85, from 50 to 85, to be completed at the end of this year at $16.3 billion. Now, at the moment, or at least by September, it was running ahead of time and below cost. 66 of those had been delivered. There's an approach called the target outturn cost approach, which is similar to that used in the United States, but I think it was target value design, I think it was called, as part of lean construction. Those of you that are familiar with lean construction probably knows familiar with target cost estimating. But it's more than just the cost. It's the time and it's the delivery program at all. So that begs the question, you know, what's a reasonable cost, time, and what is value and what is valued? And that's a question that's cropped up earlier today in the discussions. There's a paper that I wrote with two of my colleagues called Improved Reliability in Planned Large-Scale Infrastructure Project Delivery Through Alliancing. And that was published earlier this year. And I certainly pass on that link easily enough for you. So some of the characteristics of the level crossing program is about best value rather than value for money. Well, all the rhetoric is around value for money, but it does bring in best value. And it's interesting, that last conversation about the bringing social benefits to all of this, because one of the key result areas that the level crossing removal program has got is what they call legacy, and that's to improve the situation for both not just road and rail users, but the communities around the stations that are being totally renovated and replaced in many ways. So it's strategic project delivery for best value. There's integration of the design with multimodal passenger mobility. So it's actually being purposely designed to link really well in with the tram, taxis, etc. There's the integration of both the rail and the road operator within the program and project teams, which is quite novel. There's continuous improvement and innovation focus and rewards, and that's governed through something called a joint communication committee. The focus is on program management approach. And just to finish off, we've got an upcoming special issue in the journal IEEE-TM on organizations such as this that are involved in managing programs of projects. And we've got an upcoming book on the level crossing removal program as a case study, which should come out in early 2024.